What is going on, visionaries? Episode 9. We're capping the season 1 at 15, so we're like more than halfway there.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, but I'm joined here by the legendary Rachel Andersen.
I wouldn't say legendary, but
I mean, yeah, we're gonna pack it. Y'all can make that choice after we interview.
We'll do a poll after.
Yeah, Rachel, welcome to the Vision Room Social.
Thank you for having me.
Dude, also we're in her beautiful home, so yeah, thanks for letting us use the space.
Yeah, definitely.
Nate, you really out here, man. We've been filming all over the place, but Rachel,
it's a Tulsa tour is really what Vision Room Social is.
It is. Netflix, that's an idea. Executive producer, Rachel Andersen.
Marketing.
The legend. It's going to be on the creds. But okay, if you know how this starts, you meet a stranger. Rachel, what do you do? How do you explain that concisely? I would say Sparks Notes version.
Yeah, I'm really all over the place.
Yeah. So
I would say just entrepreneurial in every aspect. I am a graphic designer. I do work for my church, but I also do an Etsy shop.
Yeah.
I sell artwork. I guess I would just say creative endeavors because I like variety, and I don't do good if I get bored. Yeah. So
what are you on the Enneagram?
I'm a 2 and 3.
Okay. No, the 3 makes sense.
Like a strong 2, but the 2s have a misconnection with a 7.
Yeah.
And so that's where a lot of like the variety comes in, the spontaneity.
The helper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like strong helper with a strong entrepreneurial, but outside of work,
for sure, it's
like straight spontaneity. It's like if someone were to call me at 10 p.m. at night and be like, we're driving 9 hours overnight, I'd be like, great, when are you picking me up? Like, I'll have a bag ready. I can do the night driving.
That's not
I'm
me.
good.
I'm resting. I'm like, I'm watching you, girl. I'm asleep by 9:30.
Yeah.
Don't bother me.
I'm trying to get to that level just to like have health balance. But yeah.
We're bringing it back. Entrepreneurial, creativity.
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, when I initially invited Rachel to be on the podcast, what I see, at least, I see a lot of interior design.
Yeah.
I see music. I see graphic design.
Yeah.
But there's a lot to unpack. There's the Andersen Surf Shack. Can we start there?
Yeah.
What is that?
This is the Andersen Surf Shack. So this is a second home that I have renovated. I bought and flipped my first home when I was 21. And this is the second one. I bought it when I was 30. And
so we're in the Surf Shack.
We're in the Surf Shack. What? So I name every house.
Why Surf Shack?
So Surf Shack came from a book that you can actually see behind Nate.
I see it.
Yeah. So it's a book done by an author who's like, we're kind of low-key friends now because I named my house after her book. Yeah. But she interviewed people who were part of surfing culture. Yeah. And basically they described it as they designed their home around their lifestyle, around their culture, around the environment that they wanted their kids to grow up in, which is pursuit of health, getting outside, community, seeing your world. That's all the surfers community. It's not really about like, I don't know, it's not an egotistical community. Yeah. It's very culture-based and experience-based and lifestyle and health. And
so designing your living space based off your lifestyle.
Yes. And and Andersen Surf Shack is laid back living by the water, which I spent 19 years in Wisconsin on Lake Michigan. That's where this little ring is from.
I was wondering, I was like, bro, we in Tulsa right now, girl. In case you haven't noticed, there's no water right now.
I'm a little landlocked and it's not great, but I'm thriving.
Yeah.
My prayer spot was right by, it was like one specific marina off of Lake Michigan. So because she talked about laid back living by the water, I was just like, I feel most connected to God in the mountains or by the water. Yeah. And I love what she talked about of like creating a home space that shows your purpose in life or what you want to create in your community or your family or creating memories. Like a home should be, it should tell a story, but should create a safe space for anyone who comes in every season. So it shouldn't be a resume or a portfolio of your design aesthetic. It should put people at peace in every season. So I was coming out of like one of the worst seasons of my life when I renovated this home. And so it was super important to me to have a very laid back, purpose-filled home. Which, and you can kind of tell by all of the colors details too. Like, I mean, that door matches like one of my water bottles. Like
Yeah.
it's like all a
Very
story.
yeah, it matches that the chair and little
Yep.
details back there.
I'm gonna paint my curtains to
Yeah.
match my shoes.
You've been very homey. So like if y'all saw the episode 7, I think with Jade, Rachel actually let us film that here. So just thank you so much.
Yeah,
And
Jade's a very dear friend. I love her.
So I feel the love at the Surf Shack. Now I understand.
Good. Yeah.
Understand. Also Rachel passed the vibe check. She added a friend to our little
Chris Stapleton.
Yeah,
she had to make it
to the Easter egg. So I probably need to name these guys at some point, but they're just they got the double eyes.
They need names.
They got the vision.
Yeah, they got the vision.
The Surf Shack. Surf and Check. Just kidding, that's not their names.
They're laid back living.
I'm so dead. Okay, so I want to pull back on the timeline a little bit. So right now you're like doing everything.
Yeah.
But when you were like maybe like 18, 19, going to school, like what was the plan initially? And then kind of leading to how you are now. Yeah.
I lived in Wisconsin at the time. My dad's a pastor.
You're from Wisconsin?
I am from Tulsa. We moved when I was 2. Mm-hmm. My dad was a pastor at Grace Fellowship back in the day, like built it up, was the associate pastor. And then he took over a very small church in Wisconsin because he felt like the Holy Spirit told him to. So I was 2. My oldest brother was 9. There's 5 of us. Yeah. And at 16 or 17, we came back to Tulsa very often. I knew I wanted to be in Tulsa. I had actually prayed about moving at like probably at like 17. I had interviewed for an internship. It fell through. I was kind of questioning some things. So at 18, the plan was save all your money, go to a community college in Milwaukee, get my degree in graphic design, and renovate a home. Like that was just it.
You had interest in interior design since back then?
I did, yeah, because we were broke as a joke growing up because we took such a massive pay cut going from Tulsa to Wisconsin.
A small church with tithes of like, I don't know.
Nothing. I mean, it was a tiny church, and we had there was 5 kids in my family, like I said. So you have a family of 7 who is used to a higher lifestyle, but the ages all under 10, like you've got braces to diapers. You know what I mean? Like it was a huge, and then 3 older boys, like massive appetite. So we were broke as a joke. So we flipped homes to make money. And so my brother Jared and I, who's one of my best friends, he's a home builder now. Like he's won awards. He's won multiple parade homes. Wow. Because we grew up being able to walk into, I mean, I could show you pictures of what this place looked like. I bought it from the original owner of 1954. Yeah. And there was stuff that was updated, but not much. Yeah. So Jared and I grew up knowing that we wanted to be in interior design or building or renovating of some aspect, just because that was like, it was happy memories for us. It was family memories. Where my parents, it was survival. We didn't know any different. Like
you didn't know the actual financial state.
No,
that was just your reality.
We were thriving.
At the time.
I was like, we got more wallpaper to tear down. Like, great. I'm having the best Thursday ever. You know, my mom's like, we've got to get this down now so we can get this on the market. And, you know, they had all of us kids were just like a built-in workforce. So, a really terrible before state doesn't bother me. Yeah. It's kind of what I look for because I'm very particular on like how I want my home to be designed. So I gutted the house.
It's like myself. A blank canvas for you at that point.
I need that. Yeah. I do much better with that.
So quick connection point. So my family, my dad grew up in like a super big, like I think he had 5 or 6 siblings. And his family would do something very similar. So like my grandma and grandpa would build a house for them and the 6 kids to live. But then when they needed money, they would sell it and then downgrade and keep moving houses like that. Yep. Like just like a survival thing. But my dad was just like, oh, we're just moving around. But it was like a survival thing. So that's so crazy. Yeah.
So was he like super spontaneous as an adult because his lifestyle was, or did he need the security because of that?
It did the opposite to where like very conservative. Very Pentecostal church. My dad's a police officer, so my my upbringing was a little bit strict, but
same.
We're good now. Good now.
Same.
So I want to talk about Tiny Haven Studio.
Yeah, my YouTube.
Yeah. So what is that like?
So Tiny Haven was it's I would almost say like the subtitle of my home.
Andersen Surf Shack headline.
I had called it Andersen Surf Shack for the entirety of the project. And I would say 6 weeks before I moved into my home, it was like the final stretch. I had gotten backed up by just delivery, contractor schedule, people needing to redo work. So it should have taken 4 to 6 months to renovate. It took 12.
This home.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And 6 weeks before I moved in, I I saw a very dear friend of mine pass away in front of me. Yeah. So I was like, I was pretty rocky. Yeah. And so I needed a haven to heal and to, I haven't thought about this in a really long time. Yeah. I needed a place to heal and to feel safe because the PTSD and what happened that day was, I never experienced anything like that before.
Yeah, you can't prepare for that either. Like
no, and I wrestled with God in that season, and so Tiny Haven Studio is people come to this home to heal. Like I don't do as many parties, I don't do as much hosting anymore to create the space for people to just be themselves. Yeah. Whether it's they're full of life and energy or they're having the crappiest season of their life. Like it should just be a haven. And I try and be that in my personal life, like just as a person, just trying to make people feel like I truly do care about them, no matter if we're friends forever or if I'm just there at a coffee shop, like just hearing their story, you know? So that's where it came from. I had documented the entire renovation project. Yeah. I didn't launch it until February of last year of 2022.
Yeah, Tiny Haven Studio.
Yeah, so it took me a long time to even go back through the footage because there were certain points where I was brought back to that season and didn't want to go back. But it's a really fun project. I'm like learning a ton through it. I'm like going through imposter syndrome through it because you're like, well, no one wants to hear me. And also it's kind of cringy on some stuff. I do work 2 days a week for my church production crews. Yeah. They are helping me. They're very gracious with me. They're like, you need to use this microphone because your audio is like less than great.
Yeah, you're editing your own videos, right?
Yeah.
And Tiny Haven, at least from the research that I did, you're like, I guess walking people through the process of what it looked like to make this,
it's just a behind the scenes view. Like I'm not a contractor. I'm not licensed, but I know a lot about certain things because I put so much work into it. So letting people also realize, like, if you're not afraid of tough work, you can do it. And this is how I did it as a 5'5" single girl on a very strict budget. Like you can gut and renovate a whole home. Yeah. I scheduled 2 work nights with my friends, but most of the demo past that was me. And then I had to rely on friends and ask for help and grow in that. So it was a huge growing process for me too. But then the end of the renovation was rocky just for emotions and counseling, and sleep was like non-existent. I was terrified to go to sleep because of just going back to seeing my friend die. And so, it's Tiny Haven Studio is all of that. I don't talk about the grieving on the YouTube because that would be a total buzzkill, you know, but I do talk about it on my Instagram.
Yeah. I'm sorry about your loss, by the way. Thank you for sharing it on the pod. Yeah. You didn't need to, but thank you so much.
It's a huge part of the story of like why I called it Tiny Haven Studio. Because before it was like, I'm Danish. So I was like incorporating Dane into like the YouTube, and it was all kind of like, I would say identity stuff or cutesy labels or SEO heavy stuff. And then I was just like, no, I mean, Tiny Haven Studio might not pop off, but it is very much the purpose of like me as a person and over my home. So, and then it's not tied just to this house either, because this house is Andersen Surf Shack, but the overarching like YouTube theme is Tiny Haven Studio.
Yeah. And it seems like it's been a healing project, like for you. Like it's tough, a lot of tears, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears out here. But
a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in this renovation. It was grueling. It's not for the faint of heart, but it is so rewarding. Like I love my home so much.
So we're gonna break down. So Rachel does everything. You be working at the church. You be playing piano. Like casually. Editing your own videos. We're gonna unpack that after this midway segment of the pod Cash App challenge.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to do
I'm
some,
like low-key kind of nervous about this.
it's okay. I did some homework. Hopefully I do you proud.
Okay.
So actually we're gonna give an homage to Tiny Haven Studio.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna scroll back the archives a little bit. You have an intro video where you explain what the vision of Tiny Haven Studio is. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The very first one.
The question is, what is the runtime of that video?
I think it was.
I have it written down.
It was under 3 minutes. I remember it was probably like 158 or 218 because I was terrified as crap and I just kind of rushed through it.
We're gonna need a final answer.
218.
218?
Yeah.
It was 111.
Really?
It really was.
11 is a big number in my life.
111.
I'm going to have to tell my best friend that. Because 11's a huge number for her.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Hello, that was like my middle school, high school, my middle school basketball number.
11?
11.
11's a great number.
It's a great number. 111.
That's crazy. That was so fast.
Yeah. I mean, when you're watching it, it didn't feel that. I watched it, and it didn't feel that fast. But you're just breaking down what it is.
Yeah, I am still nervous filming YouTube stuff, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a good growth point for me.
Yeah, you're filming yourself, right? Like
on
camera?
My iPhone.
Yeah, okay. I'm giving you mad props because like I am too nervous to even try to figure that out. I just have Nate like running it.
Yeah, it's chaos.
So Rachel took an L on the Cash App. I'm sorry.
I'm square cashing you or Cash Apping you or whatever.
Square cashing you. I'm so you're like I'm money ordering you. It'll get there in 2 to 3.
Western Union traveler's check.
Yeah, I was getting scared because I've been like hot and cold. Like I haven't got on a streak of winning these. So
yeah, it's a great question.
It's a good question.
It feels like it's very personal to every interviewee. I was trying to
pull a Sean Evans Hot Ones inspired this. So we're gonna bring it to present day. Okay. So you're working for your church. That's
2 days a week.
Yeah. What would you say is like your main, like I don't know, what would you say like your main job is? Is it just all these things together because you're making income off that?
I guess my main job is like the studio that I run from my home, like working from home. It's graphic design and social media content creation. Mm-hmm. I do that for a couple of different clients. My brother being one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that takes up the majority of my time. I got into working at the church because I served there. I volunteered in the band by that point it was probably like 4 years, but it's been 13.
Yeah, we about to collab on a worship song.
We can. Yeah. The piano's right over there. We got the mics.
Yeah.
But I was so close with all the production guys. And our church is insane. It has so many amazing team members, but our production team is so overworked. We've got multiple campuses and we've got a private Christian school and they are overworked. So I started baking for them consistently and like bringing up like my best recipes just to kind of boost their week. Yeah. And then I became close friends with all of them and then was just like, I hate seeing all of you overworked. What do you need? And they're like, we just need someone to do paperwork and budgeting and all the busy work that anybody can do, but they're so better fit doing the things that only they can do. Yeah. So I started just doing 1 day a week and then bumped it up to 2. And that's kind of my max. We can get a full week's workload done in about some weeks are longer, but it's about 24 hours. Wow. I do 2 days back to back and they're longer days and we just kind of knock out everything. Yeah.
So, would you say like you're fully functioning and like everything that you feel like you want to be doing? Because you're doing interior design, you're doing the YouTube, you're working at the church. Like,
I would say there needs to be simplification next year. There needs to be some minimalizing, but I'm very fulfilled in what I do, and I do feel very in balance. Like I still have my Sabbath every week. I've got family time. I'm a lot better. I'm more protective over my schedule and saying no and being more, I don't know, I used to pull so many all-nighters working trade shows at my last job because I loved it. But I would go from 60 to 80 work hour weeks, like no problem, and still have a massive social life because I wasn't sleeping.
Cannot be me. You're
Yeah.
sacrificing something.
And
You're
it was serving at the church, you know, like that's a big time give, which was super life-giving to me. But I am way more healthy about having healthy rhythms and time to myself and time to read and time to just like chill, play my piano. It's I feel imbalanced, but I do feel like next year there's going to be more simplification.
Yeah, I love that. That's actually a surprising answer because like I think a lot of creatives, we kind of glorify
the hustle.
Yes. And
you're actually
like, I'm trying to bring it down a little bit.
Yeah, I had that health scare in 2014 where like several of my organs were shutting down because of hustle. Like I don't say this to brag. But
talk to us about it.
I could outwork anybody. And because I thought I didn't need sleep, like I could be this level and sociable and happy and involved in people's conversations. I had insomnia from 16 to 26, and I just thought that my body did great going off of no sleep. I didn't realize like that a percentage of people stress will not hit your brain or give you warning signs. It goes straight to your organs, and that's what happened to me. So I didn't feel stressed. I did all these stress tests, and everyone's like, yeah, it's not showing up like it would normally, but your organs are like tanked. Your adrenals, your liver. Like I had massive pain bouts, and I ate pretty healthy. I was a marathon runner. Like I did a triathlon. Like I was pretty healthy and like valued that. And with my dad's journey going vegan, we valued taking care of ourselves. But I couldn't figure out like on food journaling where the pain bouts were coming from. And finally I went to a naturopath, and who was a licensed MD. And he did like all of the tests, all of the normal tests, but then he treats naturally. And he was like, yeah, your blood pressure is crazy. Your adrenals are tanked. Your liver is bad. And he listed
2016?
2014.
2014, yeah.
And so I like gained weight. I felt like I just didn't feel like myself at all. Had no energy, tons of brain fog. And I had to completely like change my eating. Hold on. I got to take a drink. Sorry.
Yeah. Tea break. Is it coffee? Tea.
Cinnamon
break.
tea.
Okay, tea break.
My throat's getting dry. Sorry.
That's okay.
So
I'm going hard, dropping bars.
I don't know about that, but he was basically just like, you're 26 at this point. You shouldn't be experiencing. So we started diving into my schedule because there was no history of anything but cancer in my family, and I didn't have cancer. So he was like, let's go through your schedule. And my schedule was chaos. Like we just went through a normal schedule, and he was just like, so when do you sleep? Like when do you have time off work? When you like, what's your day off? And I was like, well, I have 4 hours here, and then I have 2 hours here. And he was like, no, that's not even biblical.
Yeah, you need
so it was a hard year of shifting a lot of things in my life, but it gives me a massive platform to then, it got me into neuroscience. It got me into taking care of my body. It got me into kind of like asking for help more, which was huge for me in that season. Like I had very close friends have to like come hold me accountable, publicly send me home from parties to go to bed. That's horrifying at 10 p.m. for someone to be like, hey, it's time for you to leave in front of everybody. But I'd ask them to, because otherwise I wouldn't. I would just kind of
They turn off the music gradually. Rachel has to leave.
Yeah. We were having a game night, and one of my best friends was like, you need to go. And I was just like, dang it, this sucks. But it was the only thing that could like
Those
heal
are
my
like
body.
necessary like boundaries. You know?
Yeah. Well, and it's there's still some of my best friends. Like we've walked through so much highs and lows together. Like those are the people you can count on.
For sure.
But the insomnia, like it still is something that my body struggles with under high stress. I think it's something that I'm always going to, but I have better tools. Like I know how to counteract it.
For sure. This has been a super dope change of pace, because I think a lot of the theme of this podcast, I'm like telling people to jump and go chase stuff that you're doing, and Rachel is doing all the things, but very, very much so like a good reminder that I'm very fond of resting and finding
Yeah.
that rhythm and making the change that you do need to, so that you can like last the long run of
Well, and
doing
it
what you're
comes
doing. Yeah.
down, I'm in my 30s. The filter changes, you
Mm.
lose people in life. You start realizing that life is so short.
Yeah.
And so you start chasing purpose and legacy.
Yeah.
And with neuroscience, you can get just as much done as I used to, but you're way more intentional.
Yeah.
So figuring out like biohacking, like when is your body most productive?
Yeah.
You don't have to work 20-hour days, but when is it most productive?
Yeah.
Setting yourself up, if you know a heavy week is coming up, getting the minerals and the supplements that you need,
That's true.
or meal prepping, or stop drinking coffee, because you will actually have a caffeine crash. Not that what you feel, but your organs will.
Yeah.
You won't be as creative. There's different peaks and valleys of using caffeine.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm pretty bad about it. I need to get
I
better
love
about it.
caffeine.
Yeah.
But I realized, like, I was such a driven person, but it was ruining my health, ruining my legacy, ruining my purpose. And I started having nieces and nephews around that time. Like, I wasn't my best self around them because I was always so tired.
Yeah.
So then thinking ahead to, like, when I want to have my own kids, do I want to model this for them?
Yeah.
And that be their legacy? No. Like, but God gave us enough hours in the day to be productive. He gave us the desires for our purpose. So I'm still like, go after your dreams.
But rest. Yeah.
Because it's a spiritual principle.
Yeah.
And God gave us science and faith to counteract with each other and to blend together. So me diving into all of that has actually boosted my productivity, boosted my creativity. Let me like have better stress release versus like having to rely on medication or anything like that. I don't want to be stuck on medication.
For sure.
My body doesn't do great with that.
Yeah, that's not a long-term answer. I was going to say that, like, God did demonstrate that, like, when he was creating the world, he rested on the last day.
Yeah.
And you see it in creation, like, when you're at the beach, the water only comes so far. Yeah. And there's land and sky. Yeah. And there's night and day. Like, you can't be on the same gear all the time. Yeah.
No, you can't. My brother challenged me so much, my brother Jesse, just of like, you're supposed to have a 24-hour Sabbath. If it has to be split between 2 days, like you start at 4 p.m. on Saturday and you end at 4 p.m. on Sunday, that's fine. But you're supposed to have a 24-hour period where you're truly resting with God. Pete Scazzaro talks about it in Emotionally Healthy Spirituality and Emotionally Healthy Leadership, and then Emotionally Healthy Relationships. And those books challenged me like crazy.
I need to get on that. Yeah.
They're so good. Also, Circle Maker, if you haven't read Circle Maker.
No, I haven't.
It changed my life after coming out of the insomnia, because I felt like my body was breaking down, my car was breaking down, my house was breaking down, like everything was breaking down, and I lost my job in 2014. So like everything was tanking. So I was like, God, where are you?
What is I'm breaking inside, like literally.
Literally. And just like no one around me was going through the same things. People in my age group weren't homeowners. They weren't having health issues. I had to go gluten-free. We didn't have great options back then. It was Tulsa. There wasn't like great restaurants. So I would just end up lying to people and saying I'd already eaten when I was starving. Yeah. So
that's tough. Yeah.
So my brother was like, there's spiritual principles that will heal you. And like, that's what God created for our rhythm. That's true. So
one thing I will connect with you on, so I've shared it on the pod before, but like my journey with cancer, I don't know why it happened. Yeah. But I can maybe relate to like, maybe because you're saying that sometimes like your body won't feel it. Like your mind,
your brain won't get,
but your body will. Yeah. It come out, and it took me having to go through that to like finally decide to be more bold about choosing things and like starting the pod and pursuing music and doing all these things. But now I'm kind of finding myself in this rhythm that now that I feel good and I'm like not afraid of pursuing it. Now I'm like getting stuck in I'm just going so hard because I'm so happy about it. But
there's rhythms too. Yeah. Like our body goes on a natural rhythm throughout seasons, just life, anything like that. So there are seasons to push.
And there's seasons to rest. I'm pushing right now. I'm going hard,
yeah. But that's where accountability and like your time with the Holy Spirit comes in. That's of kind of having gauges when maybe we sometimes are not our own best gauge.
Yeah. I don't trust myself.
Yeah. The common question constantly was like, did you sleep last night? And I was like, it's Thursday. I slept on Monday night.
You're like, have you seen the movie Elf? When
Yes.
he's like, I got a whole 30 minutes.
Yes. No, that was me.
No, right.
I'm serious. And it was a joke because I was like, well, obviously I'm happy, thriving. Relationships are good. I'm serving at the church. My job is good. Like I have time with family. Like my dad calls them the big rocks. Like all your priorities are good.
Yeah. But me.
And I didn't get any warning signs. Like I really didn't feel stress.
Yeah.
I felt stress before, but I wasn't feeling it in those seasons. So, the doctor was like, you have to set up different warning signs because you don't get the warning signs that everybody else gets.
So fast forward to now. Do you feel like you're better about those rhythms now?
I'm so much better, but there's still intense seasons of stress or grief that bring it out of me. So like my body will tank. Like it's mostly gut related issues or sleep related issues. So I have to like
get on top of it or get in front of it.
We buried a very close friend last week and I knew like my body probably will tank. Like I'm going to be emotional. I won't want to talk to anybody. I'm going to go hard in my work. I'll be around family a lot. So what can I do to kind of like put some safeguards for myself? Okay, I need to meal prep. I need to stay away from caffeine and just drink tea. I need to make sure I'm getting up at the same my tea. I need to make sure I'm getting up at the same time every day to getting sunlight. I need to make sure I'm getting outside. People don't understand sitting at home looking on your phone actually boosts your depression. But I forget the stat, but it's like insane. Or looking at your phone the last hour that you're awake. People should not be on their phones. Now I do it.
You're attacking me right now.
I am attacking myself because I do this all the time. But we're not meant to be on the screens. And they actually they boost your dopamine and then drop your serotonin and then drop your dopamine. So you're in a constant cycle looking for those hits. So we're not made to do that. And if our sleep is suffering, the phone should be the first thing to go.
Okay, I'm gonna throw my phone away. I'm gonna put it in the fridge. Nate, we're gonna go take our shoes off.
I'm the worst offender. I will say I do ground outside. I'm like a little bit of a hippie, but because of my dad's cancer journey, we dove into all of this. And red blood cell production boosts when your feet are in constant contact with like the grass or outside of not asphalt because that's like man-made, but actual concrete because it's a conductive material. So you can buy mats for like $50 on Amazon, and I definitely have one underneath my couch during the cold months. And it does help. It helps with stress relieving. It helps mellow out your brain. It helps. I
need to take notes, bro. I have my notes. I didn't have my pen. It's a lot. I'm learning so much right now.
I'm just a super nerd about like fighting things healthily because I watched my dad beat cancer, like going vegan. And then I went through my own struggle with my health of like, that also went into spiritual stuff of like, I don't know, wrestling with God. But all of that comes back into creativity. All of that comes back into your purpose. All of that comes back into stuff like this, like all these projects. Like
you made this?
Yeah. All of the artwork is either like stuff that is super meaningful to me. I'm a big sunrise sunset girl. I'm a big Beatles fan. I have all the artwork in my hallway is pictures that I've taken where I had a conversation with a friend that was like challenging me or like pushing me closer to God, or where God spoke to me. Or it's lyrics from a song that mean a lot to me, or it's everything should tell a story. Everything should point you closer to your purpose in God. You know which art piece that you make that is super interesting to me? You and James do this thing. It's like a white thing that's like it dries and it's raised. What is that? I use a compound joint. It's a joint compound, but it's a very specific one because it adheres to the canvas well, and it's lighter weight and low. You're speaking another language. Yeah, I mean, I basically create projects based on leftover construction materials. When this episode airs, can you share one of those on your story so they can know what this is about? Yeah, totally. I'll let you know. It's like one of those. Yeah, you'll see it. I'm actually gonna try and make some with the tone of blue of your hat. My hat, because we want to do it at Sobo, and that's the Sobo blue. I love that. Yeah, I love that. Super. Okay, I'll change the subject after this, but talking about grounding,
So when I was going through chemo, I had lost my hair and I finished in June, but my family went to the beach.
Yeah.
And that week I was like out at the beach, and that's when my hair started coming back. And the sun, the sand,
Yeah. There's
yeah.
a lot to it. There's a lot to like the vitamins. There's a lot to dopamine and serotonin, being in a safe place, hearing the waves with people that you love.
Yeah.
Coming out of a season, your body starts syncing up differently.
Yeah.
I could go on for hours about neuroscience and biohacking.
Yeah.
Because of
return guest. We're gonna have to do a season 2.
If you want to nerd out, I'll wear my glasses that time.
Okay.
LOL, I got LASIK.
Some overalls, a little.
I can. I can play the part. My friend calls me the punk ballerina or the emo hippie.
Yeah.
She's like, you're kind of like everything.
Yeah. All right, Rach, we're gonna close out the episode. So if you want to give any advice to someone who's like trying to tone it down, or someone that's like really out there,
yeah,
can you? I mean, we basically didn't talk about it the whole episode, but can you, I guess, recap it in like a Rachel way?
Yeah, I'm huge on chasing your dreams and speaking what you want to come to life. I'm also huge on rhythms. So figure out what you actually come alive doing. Because there's things that bring us joy that are seasonal, and that's wonderful.
Yeah.
But figure out what brings you joy that is tied in with your purpose, and pursue that full-fledged with some safeguards of having a Sabbath or a rest time, because we are meant to thrive. We're created to create. We're meant to go. Like, we're meant to live in our rhythms of like energy and excitement and creativity. But we are our own worst enemy when we are sabotaging ourselves.
Yeah.
And when I used to think I could do everything. You can. It just comes at a cost.
Yeah.
So what price are you willing to pay?
Yeah.
So I guess I would just
willing to pay that price.
Yeah, I guess I would just say, like, what legacy do you want to live?
Yeah.
Like, I thought about that a lot in my 20s. What purpose do you want to pursue? And that guides a lot of the energy rhythms.
Yeah.
And it brings a lot more joy when you do create stuff. So I guess I would say that.
Love that. That's a good little period.
Yeah.
On the podcast. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is so fun.
Yeah. We'll see you next. Wait. Before we finish the episode, plug your stuff. Follow at
R Andersen with an SEN.
I call it Randerson.
Yeah, Randerson.
Randerson.
That's on Instagram, and then I'm Tiny Haven Studio on YouTube and TikTok.
Yeah, catch you out there.
Yeah.
See ya.
Don't see it now, but I learned to trust. You could do a lot with a little song, so I'ma let you hold.